Hey, you guys, it's us. As always, as per usual, it's you guys. It's Oreo Jr. here in his cute little costume. It's Scott, and it's me. We're here. Okay, we gotta get this book done. Like, we're damn near almost through the mud, child. We'll still be doing this. We'll still be reading this book. I have other books planned, but clearly we may or may not get to them. But as from what we've been doing, we got Wait Till Helen Comes with this little badass girl who is just running amok. What you got, Scott?
Wait to see what she has going on today.
I can't wait till we get to chapter 9 because this little heifer, she's something else. This little heifer something else. So anyway,
Are we on chapter 5?
6.
Oh.
You interested in getting to 9 too, huh?
Oh, you said chapter 9.
Yeah, I can't wait to
I
get
thought
to
you said
chapter
5.
9. We in chapter 6.
You said I thought you passed that.
Yeah, and where I can gloss through, I'm gonna gloss through because I want to get to my teacher is an alien. It's like one of my favorite childhood books. I don't know if y'all read it, but here we go. Okay, let's get to it because I got some stuff on the stove. Okay. Okay. That night, Heather had her first bad dream. She woke me up screaming, "Help! Help! It's on fire! Put it out, mommy! Put it out!" So remember when in the beginning of this book where old girl was like, "Girl, this happened when she was like 3. Why are we not still over it?" We not over it, ma'am. Okay, remember? What's her name? Molly. Molly was like, it happened when she was 3. She should be over it. It don't work like that, Molly, honey. Bye, Molly. Anyway, I jumped out of bed, switched on the light, and ran to her. She was sitting in bed, her eyes squeezed shut, clutching her blanket. Tears ran down her cheeks, and she was trembling, honey. She was shooketh. Scott, did you know she was shooketh?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds serious.
She got PTSD from watching her mama burn alive. Save me! Save me! She cried. Heather! I grabbed her shoulders and shook her. She shook her. She was like, "Wake your ass up. Wake your ass up. Wake up." Michael stumbled into the room. What's going on? What's wrong with her? Girl, a lot. Michael, honey, you don't even know the beginning or the ending or the middle even of what's wrong with her, honey. Okay? She need a therapist, but we going to continue to act like ain't nothing wrong here. Twisting and turning, Heather screamed away from me and started running down the hall, still screaming about the fire, and probably needs to be screaming about get me a therapist, but that's not happening right now. Dave caught her and picked her up. "It's all right, honey. We're going to continue to pretend like you don't need a therapist." He didn't say all that, but they're going to continue to pretend like she doesn't need a therapist. So he murmured, rocking her as if she was a baby. That's part of the problem. Suddenly, she collapsed against him, perfectly relaxed. Her mouth found her thumb. Her long eyelashes fluttered against her cheeks. Her legs dangled like a rag doll. Gently, David carried her back into our room and lowered her into the bed. There now, he whispered, soothing her hair back from her forehead. He kissed her. Heather's eyes opened for a second, and she smiled at her father before sinking back into sleep. Turning to me, David whispered, "What happened? Girl, can you not ask her? Sir, ask her what happened. The little girl can tell you, Heather can tell you, or Heather can tell you." What say you, Scott?
Yeah,
He babying her, and she needs a therapist.
that she does.
She was screaming about fire. I tried to wake her up, but I couldn't. Then she jumped out of bed and ran out into the hall. I took Mom's hand and slid closer to her. Was he going to blame me now? Somehow? No, ma'am. Dave shook his head and ran his hands through his hair, making it stand up in spikes. She hasn't had one of these nightmares for a long time. I thought she'd gotten over them. Looking at me again, he asked, "Did anything upset her today?" Sir, how the fuck would I know? This little heifer running around playing in graveyards. Like, what are you talking about? That's what I would have said, but she's a respectful child. So good on her. Well, she was in the graveyard, I said uneasily. She was talking to someone. She thinks there's a girl there, Helen. It sounded so ridiculous when I talked about it that I was embarrassed. I already knew what Michael and Mom thought about ghosts. I was sure Dave would have the same reaction. Just as I thought, Dave smiled. Heather's very imaginative. No, sir, she need a therapist. He said it as if I criticized her. And very sensitive. You and Michael haven't been asking her questions about the fire, have you? I don't like Heather Daddy. Because he in denial about his daughter going through some mental health issues. Of course not, I stared at him shocked. Surely he knew that Michael and I had promised not to talk to Heather about the fire. Did he think we would go back on our word? The answer is yes. I thought something might have stirred up her memories. He tugged on his beard, gazing at me as if he wasn't sure if I could be trusted to tell the truth. It's what happened in the graveyard, I said. There's something bad under the oak tree. I know there is. You should make her stay away from it. Even Mr. Simmons, that's the name of the gardener guy. I didn't know his name. His name is Mr. Simmons. Mr. Simmons told her not to go near there because of snakes and poison ivy. Snakes and poison ivy are one thing, Dave said slowly. But don't you ever start scaring her with stories about bad things in the graveyard. Molly thinks the graveyard is haunted, my loyal brother said. Yeah, snitch. She's sure some ghosts is after Heather. Mom and Dave both turned on me then. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, Molly, Mom said, and Dave agreed. No more talk about ghosts, he said, especially not around Heather. I don't want you scaring her. No wonder she's had a nightmare. How you gonna blame everybody for your child not having a therapist, sir? You know, Michael Jackson had this song called Man in the Mirror. And it went as such. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to make that change. No message could be any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look in the mirror and make that change. Sir, if you don't take a damn look in the mirror and see who's scaring her is you and her lack of therapist and get it together or leave it alone and stop blaming this other little girl because your little girl saw her mama get burnt alive and you refuse to acknowledge that there is something wrong with her. Oh, Lord. I didn't have to snap on the daddy. And he a fictional character. Got my blood pressure up. He did. Got my blood pressure up. Got my blood pressure up and my diabetes low. Michael laughed. Molly didn't scare Heather, he said. Heather scared Molly. Period. Come through, little brother. Come through. David sighed and put his arm around Mom's shoulder. Well, no sense standing here all night arguing about it, he said. Stop blaming people. No, sir, ain't nobody arguing about shit. You stop blaming people all night because you ain't get your daughter a therapist. Yeah. He said, just don't inflict your own fears on Heather, Molly, still blaming. You've been fretting around or fretting about that graveyard ever since we moved here. It doesn't bother anybody else, so forget about it, okay? Let me tell you, right there, my brain said, just like you forgot to get her a damn therapist.
So everybody else is up this graveyard in our yard. Okay.
Ain't that where her mama got buried? Did you think about that before you moved our asses up here? I mean, we could just spread blame all over the place.
I missed that. The mama was buried in that graveyard?
No, the mama was buried in a graveyard, though. Like, you know her mama ain't here, sir, because she got burnt up. And you know that little girl probably had to go to the funeral. She had to go to the funeral and probably down to the graveyard. So you don't think maybe you moving us here, maybe, you know, we could pass blame all over the place. Scott, don't you think you got a part to play in this blame? Don't you out there? I'm kidding. Oreo Jr., you think you had something to do with it? Anyway, As I started to go back into my room, he added, I see Heather visits to the graveyard as a way to come to terms with her mother's unaliving. It's probably good for her, as long as nobody scares her. He looked at me again, leaving no doubt to whom he meant. Closing my door, I tiptoed back to bed. Before I laid down, I peeked at Heather. The moonlight shone on her face, and I was sure her eyes were open a tiny slit. I bet you lay there and listened to every word we said, I whispered, but she didn't answer. Turning my back to her, the window, I switched on my tape player and fell asleep to West Side Story. Period, girl. Yes. Niggas coming to snap. Niggas like, yeah, come on. Scott, you know you love that play.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all like that play? The next morning, after David had disappeared into the carriage house, Mom into her loft, and Michael into the woods, I sat on the breakfast table with Heather. Oh, God. Watching her poke at her cereal bowl. What are you going to do today? I asked her. Nothing. She carried her bowl to the garbage can and dumped most of her cereal. I bet you're going to the grave again. She looked at me over her shoulder, tangles of hair almost hiding her face. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. It's none of your business, is it? And see, the daddy over there blaming Molly and stuff, but this little heifer, Heather, pisses me off a lot because she got a slick mouth. There isn't really a ghost there, is there? You were making it all up. You heard what Daddy said last night. No more talk about ghosts or trying to scare me. I'm going to tell him you're still doing it. With her hand on the screen door, she added, you better not follow me or spy on me either. You'll be sorry if you do. Helen doesn't like people who bother me. Bring her. Those would have been my words, bring her. Okay? Don't make me call the Ghostbusters, bitch. Before I could say anything, she was gone, leaving the screen door to bang shut behind her. Running to the window over the sink, I watched her saunter across the yard and disappear down to the graveyard. Just once, she looked back at me and scowled. Since it was my day to wash the breakfast dishes, I filled the sink with hot soapy water and watched the bowls and mugs and glasses slowly fill and sink beneath the bubbles. While I watched them, I wondered what I would do about Heather, and it goes, girl, nothing. Nothing. Just let her keep going down there. If there was a ghost, in the morning sunlight, it seemed almost likely that I had imagined the presence of something inhuman under the oak tree. Maybe Mom was right about the poetry I had been reading, especially the Poe. After I finished the dishes, I made my bed, trying to ignore the tangle of sheets, blankets, and clothes on Heather's bed. Then I picked up Watership Down and went outside to read. Scratching out in the shade of one of the maples, I opened my book, but the warmth of the summer made it hard to concentrate. How, girl, what? Go back in the house. In the droning of bees, in the rustling of leaves, the swaying of wildflowers, I imagine hearing Helen's voice whispering to Heather, calling her, promising her things. Closing my book, I left it under the tree and crossed the line to the graveyard. Stay your ass up. How many times you gotta be told that? Scott, how many times does she gotta be told? Y'all, Oreo Junior. Y'all, how many times does chick gotta be told? Stay away from there. I crept along the outside of the hedge, paused when I reached a tree, and peered through the leaves to the little stone, expecting to see Heather sitting there. All I saw was the peanut butter jar filled with fresh flowers. Pushing through the hedge, I forced myself to approach the tombstone. H-E-H, I read. March 7th, 1979 to August 7th or August 8th, 1879 to August 8th, 1886. She had been, She had been unalive for 100 years. so much longer than she had been alive. What was left of her now? A tangle of bones, probably, or some dust. Maybe nothing but dust. I shivered, cold in the shade of the oak, hugging myself to get warm. Thinking about the snakes, I bagged away from the grave, feeling the warm sunlight strike my back as I moved out of the shade of the oak. With bees droning in the Queen Anne's lace and a butterfly flitting across my head, it was strange to think of unaliving, especially the unaliving of a little girl younger even than I was. Could she really still be there haunting this grave? If she did exist, what did she want? Probably to take out Heather. That would be my guess. It was the loneliest sound I've ever heard, as lonely as a ghost who had been lying alone in the dark for 100 years. Overwhelmed with such a terrible feeling of sadness and despair, I turned and ran out of the graveyard, feeling my heart pound. I wanted to go to mom, but I knew she would laugh at me, or worse, get cross. Knowing it was useless to turn to Dave, I decided to look for Michael. Girl, yeah, he your best bet. He was somewhere in the woods and followed the path along the creek, hoping I might find him trying to catch crawfish where the water slowed near the fence. Okay, so she going and looking for Heather or Michael. And all of a sudden, because we're going to just breeze through this, honey. And then we're going to get to this part. While I was gazing at the house, trying to imagine it whole, I saw a flash of color. Oh, so she found this old burnt up house while she was looking for Michael.
Just in the middle of the woods somewhere.
Scott, why you just can't let me gloss over? But okay, I'm going to read that part.
No, that's fine.
On the rising ground above the pond were the ruins of an old stone house. Although the walls of the 2-story high on the side facing the water, the rest of the house was a crumbling heap of rock and charred wood. Long ago, it must have been burnt, I thought. But before that, it must have been beautiful, standing there on a hill, looking out across the valleys to the mountains. While I was gazing at the house, trying to imagine it whole, I saw a flash of color, the red of a t-shirt instantly visible. Thinking it was Michael, I started to call to him, then stopped myself. Heather had been wearing a red t-shirt when she ran out of the kitchen this morning. What was she doing here, so far from home? Girl, you know what her little ass doing. A bunch of mischief that she gonna blame on you.
Exactly.
Just a bunch of foolishness. Running across the clearing between the houses and the pond, I crept through the underbrush surrounding the ruins, trying hard to make no noise. As I reached the corner of the house, I heard Heather's voice and dropped silently to my knees. Girl, I would not be getting my clothes dirty for this little chick. I'm sorry, I would go run right to my parents' house and tell them to come on, let's get on to this abandoned house and get this little girl out of here because she is crazy. I didn't do it. She's doing it herself. I spotted Heather sitting on what once must have been a terrace. It's lovely here, Helen, she said, turning towards a space in the air, a sort of shimmering emptiness that reminded me of heat waves thrown out by campfires on a hot day. I was sure that Heather could see someone or something, that she could hear a voice speaking in the breeze. Shivering, I felt the hairs on my neck and arm rise. At any moment, I expected to see what Heather saw, and I was sure that Michael would not laugh if he were here. Even mom and dad would have to believe me, so you should have went and got him. Heather was not sitting on that stone bench alone talking to an imaginary friend. Something was with her, and I'm sure it was no friend. Very slowly and cautiously, I bagged away into my tunnel through the underbrush. All of a sudden, the house seemed threatening, more frightening than the graveyard itself. Its ruined walls towered over me, smoke scorched and smelling still of charred wood and ash. Girl, you're going to have asbestos. You better get out of there. Them houses had asbestos back then. Something terrible had happened here. I knew it had, and I wanted to get away to save myself from whatever waited here in the ruins. Breaking free of bushes and trees, I ran towards the pond, not caring whether Heather saw me or not. Once I reached the safety of the woods, I slowed down and finally collapsed on a fallen tree, gasping for breath. Girl, you doing a lot. I would have slowly strolled my ass on the way. If she saw me, she saw me. If she didn't, she didn't. What is she going to do? Tell her daddy she was out by an abandoned house talking to her imaginary ghost friend? While I sat there trying to breathe normally, I heard someone coming down the path. Looking up, I saw Heather walking towards me. At the sight of me, she stopped, obviously startled. What are you doing here? Her hands balled into fists. She stood in the middle of the path, sunlight and shadow modeling, mottling, her face, and closed with random patches of darkness and light. You followed me again. Did I scare you?
You did.
I scared myself. Standing up to give myself the advantage of height, I shook my head. I was looking for Michael, I said, and I saw you on the terrace talking to someone. Heather tilted her head. Oh, wait. Got to get it right. She's like a film bot. To one side, her jaw protruding at a stubborn angle. So? Ooh, Heather a little gangster. Heather, this isn't a good place. Frightened, I reached out to take her arm, but she sidestepped me. Don't try to tell me what to do, Molly. Her gray eyes stared into mine. This is Helen's house. She paid the bills here. No, I'm kidding. She didn't say that. This is Helen's house. She invited me here. I'll come whenever I want to. You're the one who better stay away. Put your neck right here. In between my thumb and my pointer finger.
Yeah.
Listen to me, Heather, please. Helen isn't your friend. She's I don't know what she is, but she's dangerous. Stay away from her. I seized the little girl's arm and shook her. Don't come here anymore.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's dramatic. I need to be on Broadway getting my Tony. As quickly as a cat, Heather wiggled away from me. Since when do you ever care what I do? Helen's a better friend than you've been. Bitch, I'm not your friend. I'm sorry, but I'm not your friend, little heifer. I'm your stepsister. And from what everybody else say, your babysitter. What are you talking about, friend? This ain't school, fool. That's what I would tell the little girl. Girl, I ain't your friend. Okay? Listen to me, Heather. Oh, wait. As quickly, wait. She understands me. She likes me. Girl, she don't even know you. Because if she knew you, she wouldn't like you, is what I would probably just let her know. I'm in a fight that I ain't even in, but I am in a fight. Heather's thin chest rose and fell rapidly as she bagged off, her eyes huge and frightened in her pale face. Don't you dare try to take me away from her. A shift in the breeze lifted the leaves over our heads. Our dog Oreo would just like cry and freak out if those leaves were just like blowing in the air. Oh my God. That is Wait Till Helen Comes, honey, for him. That is the fright night. An array of sunlight struck Heather, glinting on a silver locket I had never seen before. Oh, you out here stealing, are you? Y'all like my silver locket? Heather, aware of my eyes, Heather closed her small hand around the locket. What's that? I moved towards her, but she turned and ran away from me, back towards the church. She gave it to me, Heather cried over her shoulder. It's mine and you can't see it. I stood still for a moment and watched her vanish around a curve in the path. Her thin white legs flashing through the weeds. Fearfully, I glanced back at the ruins of the house on the hill. For a moment, I thought I saw a face at one of the windows. I wasn't sure, girl, you just hallucinate. The honeysuckle and ivory draping the walls were fluttering in the breeze. And what I saw could have been a shadow or a patch of light. Without looking at the house again, I ran down the path after Heather. I don't know why. It doesn't say I don't know why. I don't know why she's running after her. Girl, leave that little weirdo child alone. Okay. That ends that chapter. We got to get to chapter 9 because this little heifer like really goes in. Like chapter 9, okay. You want to go Mike Tyson punch out with her. What did you learn from this, Scott? What did you guys learn? Put it in the comment section. What did you learn from this chapter, Scott?
The groundskeeper is not very good because they've got poison ivy and snakes all over his property.
It is what it is. I learned that if people sitting there blaming you, just fall back. Just fall back. Don't do nothing. So then they can figure out like who really doing it. Just don't do nothing. I wouldn't have left the house. I'll just be in there like, okay, I can't scare her if I ain't near her. What's up? So that's what I learned. If people are blaming you, just fall back. Yeah. So they can figure out what really is to blame. Get to the root cause of it. But put what you think in the comment section. So I'm going to conclude because I feel like what I got in the oven is ready. It smells good. So with that, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, comment. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with us from wherever we are to wherever you are. Peace, love, happiness. We'll see you later.